We're rolling. All right. Welcome back to another amazing episode of Life on the Ave. We're officially in season 2 of this podcast. I don't know if you knew that. Season 2. So super excited to welcome some awesome guests and starting with our first. How excited are you?
I'm really excited. I didn't realize that was your first in season 2.
So your episode, actually you'll be our second guest of season 2, I believe. Sorry.
I'm not sure how we'll roll them out, but we did 50 episodes. So
now we're in season 2, but this is Mark Shafer. This is Mark Shafer of the Brandywine Zoo. We're so excited to have you.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks.
Whoever runs your content, what's her name?
Kate McMonigal.
Kate. So Kate reached out to us weeks, maybe months ago, and was like, hey, we'd love to come on. I was like, let's get this rolling. She jumped right on it. We put it on the schedule.
Yeah, she's awesome.
When I remember we got her DM, I was like, guys, the zoo wants to come on. And everyone was like, let's go. So we're pumped to have you.
We're happy to be here.
Yeah.
We're happy to be hacked, actually.
Good. So I'm going to give a quick background of the zoo.
All right.
And then we'll jump into you later in the show, but I'm going to give a quick Brandywine Zoo background.
Sounds good.
Cool. So the Brandywine Zoo features animals from the tropical and temperature areas of North and South America, Asia, and Africa. The zoo animals range from more common species to the highly endangered. The zoo is small with mostly smaller animals, and they provide numerous learning experiences, conservation projects, community outreach programs, and special events for all ages throughout the year. Open every day. That's amazing. Except for Christmas.
Christmas Day is the only day you can't come.
So cool. I love that. The Brandywine Zoo is managed by the Delaware Division of Parks and Recreation with the support of the Delaware Zoological Society. The Brandywine Zoo is a member of the Association of Zoos and Aquariums and is one of over 240 accredited zoos and aquariums in North America, a distinction that marks its commitment to providing excellent care for animals, a great experience for the visitor, and a better future for all living things.
I could not have said it better myself.
Well, from your website. So welcome. Thank you for coming on.
Happy to be here.
You are the executive director.
Yes, of the Delaware Zoological Society. So we're the 501c3 nonprofit partner to the zoo. So as you mentioned, the zoo itself is a state park, Delaware State Park.
So cool.
And so the state takes care of the animal side, feeding the animals, caring for the animals, the facilities. As the nonprofit partner, our responsibilities, among other things, is really raise funds for the zoo.
Got it.
And help with the educational programming and the conservation work. So we raise funds through a number of ways. We actually do fundraising for capital improvements, which you can talk about that. But admissions and gift shop, all the dollars, and even simple donations that people come, all those dollars help us with our educational programming and conservation work as well.
Awesome. How long have you been doing this?
I started right before COVID.
Wow,
it's funny. I was just going to join the board, I thought. And the prior executive director, who was awesome and still is, he took a job up in New York at a much bigger zoo. Now, it's not hard to find a bigger zoo, but he was a real zoo guy, and he really wanted that. I was a marketing guy. I ran an advertising agency here for MBNA and then Bank of America. And prior to that, I worked in New York City for a number of advertising agencies. So my background is marketing and advertising. So they were looking for somebody. COVID hit. They couldn't really find anybody. No one would leave a safe job for something uncertain during COVID. And I said, I'll help out if you want. And then they said, will you stay? It's been 4 years. And it's exciting. It's, I said to my wife, I was going to retire. And I said, if I do something else, I want to do something either completely different or something with kids. And I got to say, I did both of this. It's great. So I enjoy it.
Cool.
It's a good team. It's a small place, but we work really well together, and it feels very rewarding.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I went to Ursuline for high school, and they brought me on as alumni association president, same thing, like right during COVID.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, like to bring in someone with a business background as opposed to that zoo background to help them through that.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Well, I mean, I was learning on the fly, but and we're trying to figure out, can we stay open? How are we going to do this? But the great thing for us and a lot of businesses, I don't know if you guys had this experience or not. Were you doing this 4 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
You were. Well, the federal government.
Real estate,
Yeah. Well, you know what?
We call ourselves a marketing firm that sells real estate.
Perfect. Well, thank God for like state money and federal money. The PPP money that came through really helped us weather a lot of storms. And we pivoted to a lot of virtual programming, which didn't really help pay the bills, but it kept us in front of people and it kept us connected to people.
Yeah.
And then when we were
when
we were able to open up, people came because people want to be back together, but they were scared about being in an enclosed environment with COVID. Well, we're open air environment. So that really helped us a lot. And we've seen people come back with the additions the capital improvements we've made with a Madagascar pavilion and habitat with lemurs now,
Right.
And some other upgrades around the zoo. People just love it, and I know you're members. You guys have been there. You know what it's like.
Proud members.
Yeah, so I always tell people, if you haven't been to the zoo in 4 years, then you really haven't been to the zoo. It's completely different than
Totally agree. Yeah, totally agree. And this is a little PSA. Like, we gave a zoo membership. My sister has 2 boys. We gave her a zoo membership for Christmas a couple of years ago. These kids don't need toys. They don't need junk. They don't need clothes. Right.
Right.
We are very big on like experiences, gifting experiences, and it was such an easy, quick Christmas gift to give them. I just printed out a little picture with the zoo in a frame and gave it to them as their Christmas gift. And then the next year they gave it back to us. So now we're members.
Well, we did something last year for the first time, at least in my time there. Maybe we did it years ago. I'm not sure, but we ran a social media campaign, really just promoting gift memberships around Christmas time. And we had a surge in membership. It was just putting that thought in people's minds. It's a simple thing to give.
Right.
It's really a welcome gift.
Right. And it's like a fun thing. Every time they go to the zoo, I'm sure they'll send you a picture. Hey, we're at the zoo again. Thank you so much.
I get a lot of that. Yeah.
It's a bonus. Yeah. And then you just mentioned before we started, I feel like we need to add this in here, that you have half price admission to the Philadelphia Zoo through your membership.
By virtue of being an AZA member zoo, there's something like 150 zoos nationwide that you can get reduced membership for, but Philadelphia is one of them. So to save 50%, Philadelphia, it's a great zoo, and it's worth the money. But if you can get 50% off your ticket, that's a deal. So a family of 4 can buy a membership at our zoo and essentially have that money given back to them in terms of half price pricing at Philadelphia Zoo. So
amazing.
It works well for everybody.
Or if you're traveling, so you take your kids somewhere else.
Oh God,
sure there's a zoo. You know, there's 150 in the country.
150 or so,
Wow.
that we have a partnership with.
Wow, that's a beautiful thing. Yeah, good to know. Now, next time we're traveling somewhere with the kids,
San Diego.
Yeah.
Cole wanted to go. We went to San Diego in November as a team, and Cole really wanted to go to the zoo.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to go with him. Yeah. So
we only
we should have went.
Yeah, we should have went. You're only there for a couple of days, and it was hard to jam pack everything in there. It's tough. So give us like a brief background of the zoo. I saw on the website, we're talking like it's over 100 years old, right?
We're going to have a 120th anniversary next year. So while Philadelphia is the oldest zoo in America at 150, we're not far behind 120 years. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was 2014. You guys had was it 2014? There was a celebration for 100 years.
I
see it on your website.
Well, I know next year it's going to be 120 years. So I'll do the math, work backwards. But
so 2004, probably.
2005.
2005. Wow. So what are you going to do to celebrate? What's next year?
Well, what we're hoping to do, we're in the process of expanding the zoo even more. There's a habitat right now. We have toucans in it. We have poodoo in it and sloths. And it's actually 2 habitats kind of combined in a way. We're raising funds right now to change that out completely, to make a winter holding where people can actually, what happens in the wintertime here, as you guys well know, it gets cold. And a lot of our animals don't enjoy the cold, like the toucan, for instance.
Some of them are from Africa. Right.
Yeah. So they want to be inside. So these are some South American animals I'm talking about. What we're going to do is build a facility where they're going to be in the wintertime, keep them safe and warm. We'll have a window you can see the animals. Yeah, exactly right. And we can do some educational programming as a result of that. So as part of our 120th anniversary, there's other things I can't reveal just yet, but we're hoping to have this habitat built hopefully by July, maybe August of next year, to kind of celebrate the newness of the zoo as well as the anniversary.
Wow, that's a lot. And I was looking up. I remember back in the day when the monkey house. We could talk about the monkey house when the tree fell on the monkey house, and it was like devastating. Like people were devastated. People still talk about this.
Well, I get it all the time, and I was working at the zoo at the time, and I think we're living in Chatsworth, Ford, so I wasn't even tuned in to what was going on with the zoo.
I've lived in Wilmington my whole life, so
really, we hear these stories all the time, and I will tell you. And you asked about my connection to the zoo. You haven't asked me this question yet. Maybe you will later on, but now I won't have to. I'll ask it.
There we go.
Answer myself.
Yeah.
What do I like best about the zoo? And for me, it's the passion that the people that work there have for the mission and then the animals themselves. And I think, just example, when the monkey house crashed, a tree fell into it, and the monkeys were scattered all within the confines of the house, but people just jumped right on it. And we even had the guy who had my job at the time, the executive director, who's now our president of the board, was there. He came out. He had a flashlight. Everyone's got all hands in trying to rescue these animals.
Right. And they all survived, right?
They all survived. No one was injured, ultimately. People were injured. No animal was injured. the house was destroyed.
Yeah.
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 But this the care people have for the animals.
Wow.
Is spectacular.
Right. And then they opened up the lemur exhibit like 2 years ago.
That would have been, I think we officially opened up in late 2020.
Okay. So
2021 was the
before.
first real year of it.
Okay.
And it's been really popular.
That's the kids. That's where
They're
they stay the
super
most.
active.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're super
yeah.
active,
Oh
they
my
move
gosh.
around,
Yeah.
Right. And there's so much to see in that area.
Yeah. And what's really fun, especially if you get there, the zoo opens up at 10 o'clock every morning, except for Christmas Day.
Except for Christmas.
And when if it's above 50 degrees, which it often is, not so
Right.
they don't come out in the wintertime, but if it's above 50 degrees, they come out at 10:30 for the feeding. What we do is the keepers will put food in different places around that habitat. It's a pretty
Cool.
large habitat.
Yeah,
by
it's huge, yeah.
Our standards, but the food's not always in the same spot. So these animals have to forage for the
Nice.
so if you think they're active when you're there, get there at feeding time, 10:30 in the
Yeah.
morning. It's fantastic.
Good to know.
It's really cool.
We'll take the kids.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
take the kids. Yeah, we're trying to extend. We're trying to get our youngest to stop taking the morning nap, so we got to keep him super busy. So we'll do that.
Come at 10:30.
10:30 activity
Check
for
out the
him.
feeding, yeah.
I love that. I love it. Yeah, that exhibit turned out beautifully. And then
Yeah.
you mentioned there's that pavilion next to that, which is also stunning. You guys have a partnership of some sort with the yoga place in Trolley.
Yeah,
They're always posting up yoga.
Yeah, we have, yes, we have, I think they call it yoga with the lemurs, I think what
Yeah,
she's calling it. But,
yeah.
yeah, it's not every Saturday. We have a normal schedule out there, maybe once a month, something like that.
Yeah.
And she's lovely. She has maybe anywhere from 8 to 20
It's beautiful.
people come in and do yoga right there. We got some great photographs too of
Yeah,
that. That's
yeah,
cool.
it's
Yeah,
so
the
cool.
pavilion is wonderful for us because, being an open air environment, we don't really have a lot of space for, parties and whatnot, but we've had cocktail parties in there. We've had bat mitzvahs there
Wow.
too. It's kind of a cool space.
Yeah.
It's open air on 3 sides.
Yeah.
And there's a huge viewing window, which
Oh,
looks
really
right
nice.
into
Yeah.
the pavilion.
Yep.
And with any luck, when Meredith's doing her yoga, the lemurs can come up the window sometimes and peer and see what's going on over there.
That's
it's
so
fun.
cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah, because like goat yoga has been like a big thing on social media, but that's like lemur yoga. It's
Yeah,
so cool.
exactly.
I love it. So speaking of events, you guys have some big events coming up. The week this is dropping will be your sips. What's it called?
Sip and stroll.
Sip and
yeah,
stroll.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
The next one, well, we're having one tonight, but that's before
Nice, yeah.
9th of September.
Yep.
So the next one's, for the purposes of this, is September 12th. And they're really nice. Now, have you ever been to a Brew at the Zoo, which is our big fundraiser? We'll get 600 people at that. It typically happens in June. It's a lot of fun. This is a mini sip. Brew at the Zoo is for adults only.
Okay.
But sip and strolls, and you guys really should come. It's
Yeah.
perfect
Yeah.
for families too. So people come with their kids. We'll have typically 250 people, so it's not too crowded, but it's certainly a nice vibe there. We have music, we have live music every time. We have food vendors kind of come in, we rotate who they are.
Cool.
The education group comes out and does some animal encounters. We may have the contemporary there or Delaware Children's Museum.
Cool.
Comes up and does stuff for kids. Delaware Museum of Nature and Science will often come out as well. So we'll have, depending on the night, activities for adults and for kids. You can play cornhole, that sort of
Yeah,
thing too.
yeah.
But it's a really chill night. You can have an adult beverage if you want, which we don't typically serve at this.
Right.
venue.
Right.
You're not obligated to have
Right.
it, but you're welcome to have it if you'd like to. It's only $10 for non-members, and you guys are members. It's $5.
So
And
cheap.
kids under 3 are free, so your kids are free.
We're
So
both free.
what do you do? You gotta go. All right, I'll see you there in the 12th of September.
We're in.
It's
We're
from
in.
9 to 7:30, but it's
I love that.
always a good time. I mean, we survey people afterwards, all our events, and the scores for that sip and strolls are off the charts. People
Good to know.
really, really like it. We've done it now for 3 years.
We came to an ice cream social event one time.
Yeah,
where
that would
High
have been-
Point was there.
Yes, that would be our members' night.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We were,
exactly right.
Yep,
Yep.
we were there. Yep,
Yep.
exactly. The babe Winslow was like brand new. He was like literally 2 months old, not even.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the perfect place, especially like we have 2 toddlers now, and like it's not massive where you're gonna lose your kid. Like,
Yeah.
they can kind of run around. You can keep them in a distance. It's really
Well,
great.
we hear that a lot, honestly, from young families because
Yeah.
it's only one way in, one way out.
Correct.
So, I mean, obviously, we
Super
take
safe.
great care of all
Yeah.
these things. We run all the drills you might need to for safety. But on top of that, it's hard to lose your child
It is.
there.
Yeah.
And we do hear that from people how
Yep.
they really appreciate that, especially
Yep.
young families.
Yep. And the goat area, I swear my kids could walk up and down the steps 1,000 times if
Yeah.
they're by the goats. So if anything, just sit right by the goats and
Yeah.
kill an hour just doing that.
Exactly right.
I love that. I love it. And then you also have Boo at the zoo. So you talked
Yeah.
about Brew at the zoo. Boo at the Zoo is like your Halloween version.
Absolutely. And Boo is probably, well, I should say probably, definitely is our highest and most popular event. I can check my notes for the dates. The dates this year are Friday, October 18th, Saturday, October 19th, and Sunday,
The
October
20th.
20th, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. 3 or 4 years ago, I guess before I got there, we always ran it at night. And it was very popular. But when COVID hit, we just thought on judgment, people, I get kind of nervous about being around other people, want some space. We changed it to daytime. We went from, something like, I don't know, 500 people a day to 800. It was so popular. We expanded the hours. So it's still not too crowded because it's from 10 to 3, but
Right.
we'll have 2,000 people ultimately come through there.
Lovely.
It is so much fun. The kids are so darn cute. It's unreal. I mean, it really blows my mind. And, I always I hand out candy.
Yeah,
There's a lot of candy being handed
Okay,
out.
okay,
We
okay.
have a lot of vendors.
So kids dress up.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Not just kids. I mean, adults do as well. It's really,
All right,
it's
get your
totally
costume ready.
cool.
Get your costume
It's
ready.
totally cool.
Do
Yeah.
kids dress up like animals? Like I would want to be an
Some
animal.
do. Yeah.
Okay.
No, some do. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you
Okay.
dress up?
I do not. Although,
Maybe this year.
I'll tell you a little secret. We, with ringtail lemurs being our featured animal, we do have a mascot. We have a 6'4", Ringo is his name, lemur.
No way.
That I'm 6'4". Did I tell you I'm 6'4"?
Weird coincidence.
Yeah. So I won't say I dress up, but we do have a 6'4" lemur on the ground.
Somehow.
And I am
around.
6'4". Kind of a Clark Kent Superman thing. I've never been
In
filmed.
the same room.
I've never been filmed next to him.
Weird.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
Good
But
to know.
Don't tell the kids.
All right. Sounds good. We'll keep that one to ourselves. I love that. So I was going through your website. I found some cool fun facts I wanted to bring up.
Yeah.
So it is said that George Washington mustered his troops on the field above the zoo near the Washington Street Bridge during the American Revolution. Did you know that?
I did not know that. I did not know
I knew
that.
that.
You knew that.
I did. Yeah. Shout out Nathan Field, our city council rep.
There we go.
He actually just got a plaque. It's on Lovering Ave.
No way.
Yeah, we'll walk past it tonight. I'll point it out to you.
Interesting.
But
That's so cool.
yeah. That's one thing I wanted to ask. Like,
Yeah.
it's such a unique location.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
I'm a little ignorant. I haven't
It
been
is.
to a ton of zoos,
Yeah.
but like mostly like the Cape May Zoo's flat, Philadelphia, it's in a city sort of deal.
Yeah.
This is in a city, but like
Yeah.
Wilmington,
Literally on a hill.
Yeah, it's literally,
on a
yeah,
hill.
yeah.
Like, so I think that poses some challenges, but also I think it's a very cool environment.
Well, I'll tell you, I think I agree with you, by the way. I think where we're located, also down by the park, that down by the Brandywine River too.
Stunning.
It's
Stunning.
that's spectacularly beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, what works against us is we are off the beaten path. So people aren't naturally always driving by. Now, you guys probably live in the neighborhood.
Yeah, we live
So you
around
see
the
it all the
corner.
time. But,
Yeah.
so one of our challenges is to stay fresh and top of mind because it's not like people drive by all the time
No.
seeing it, right? So there's that. And I would say the terrain of the zoo, and you pointed out correctly, is part of that adds some of the beauty of it, but it is challenging. When we built the animal care center, as an example, the state put the money into it. And that's the animal hospital that, as you drive up Monkey Hill to the right, that kind of wooden looking building to the right,
Yeah.
that's new. That's an animal hospital, essentially, state of the art. It's
Nice, it's
really, oh my God.
Next door, yeah.
Yeah, it's right there. But the rock excavation was like 4 times what the budget allowed.
I can
There's
imagine.
it's all granite up there, so it's really challenging.
It's
in the-
blue rock,
Wilmington
right?
Blue
Yeah,
Rock.
Wilmington Blue Rock.
exactly
So
right.
we
Yeah.
are in real estate. We've renovated a couple homes and we've had to like chisel down on the blue rock in our basements.
Yeah, no, congratulations.
It's
I'm sure you're happy about that. Yeah,
It's
out there.
insane.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
insane.
it is.
Yeah.
But it does provide nice habitats for the condors that
Yeah.
come in, right? So they see that very naturally.
Yes.
Some people have come in thinking we must have just created that environment for the condors, like the rocks are
Right.
fake or something.
Brought those in from
Believe
China.
it or not, they're
Right
not
now.
fake.
No, there's
They're as
plenty
real
of
as
them
they can be.
around. Yeah, just
Yeah,
just
they're very
dig.
real.
You'll find one. You'll find one. Yeah.
Yeah.
When we did our basement at our current house that we live in, our basement contractor was like, we have been at this for 2 days. We cannot bust up this rock. So our basement's flat, and then there's one section that's like this. It's a little higher. So he was like, we don't have enough manpower. He's
Yeah.
like, literally, all of we can't chisel this away anymore.
Yeah, of course.
They literally
Yeah.
had to give up.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
We dug out our basement from 6 feet to 9 feet, and the guy estimated he's like, we took out 100 tons.
Oh my God.
Insane.
Really?
Insane.
Wow.
Insane. All right. And then the second fun fact is the first animals were all donated, which is so cool.
Okay.
And they were 11 elk, 3 buffalo, 2 eagles, 5 monkeys, some goats, it didn't give a number, 2 black bears, ducks, parrots, 2 raccoons, 1 groundhog, and 3 alligators.
And no partridge in a pear tree. That's what I need.
Crazy. But I just can't imagine walking through and seeing 3 buffaloes or 11 elk. Like some of these animals,
Yeah.
I can't picture.
I think, I don't have that history. I'm sure
Right.
Brent Spencer, who's our zoo director, and when you come by, when you're there, I think his day off is Monday,
Okay.
maybe Sunday, but ask for Brent, or any keeper can help you, frankly.
Yeah.
But Brent has a unique perspective on the history of the zoo. He worked there as a teenager way back when. And he talks about where there used to be lions and tigers and bears and all that.
Right.
But he's told me back in those days that the terrain, not terrain, but the footprint of the zoo was different. I think it even actually might have leaked over to down towards the river and then maybe up towards the school as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it wasn't always in the same footprint we're in right now. I don't think you have Buffalo where we are now,
Right.
for instance.
No.
But it's the history of these things. Well,
So cool.
120 years, a lot will have changed,
A lot.
right? Yeah.
And where the monkey house was, there's nothing that ever replaced that, right?
No, we didn't replace that
No,
building.
so that was sitting there. Interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm sure tons have changed. I mean, that's just one example in my lifetime.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So cool. And is there, like, I'm sure the Wilmington Historical Society has like old pictures from like way back then, right?
And Brent has some as well. So
Okay, cool.
if you tell me you want to see some old pictures,
Yeah.
and because you've done this, I'll
Yeah.
put a good word in for
All
you.
right, sounds good.
Bring in and show you some stuff. I mean, at one point there was a children's zoo. There was Noah's Ark was there. They had Humpty Dumpty put out on the wall apparently.
Oh my goodness.
This all predates me certainly,
Oh, yeah.
but yeah, there's some long history there.
Well, when I'm at the zoo, I'm chasing around 2 toddlers, so I don't get to like read the plaques or read anything. Really.
Yeah.
My eyes are.
Yeah.
Dad reads all the
Yeah,
facts.
he's the one standing there, and I've got 2 kids, ice cream streaming down my face. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
can we stop reading about the lemurs? You can Google it when we get home. So funny. So, what's your favorite animal?
Gosh, a good
Let's
question.
go favorite animal at the zoo. Like,
Oh,
let's
okay.
go favorite animal at
Well,
the zoo currently today.
I would say probably Sherman or Red Panda.
Cool.
And I think I bet most people would say he's just cool.
Yeah.
I mean, he's cool.
Yeah.
And he's beautiful to look at. But there's also like Peanuts, who are North American porcupine.
Cool.
He's-
Yes,
he's-
I know that one.
He gets up in the late afternoons, and if you're there maybe around 2:30, he gets up and does this little wiggle dance. And
Yeah.
it's like he's doing it for somebody, but he's doing it for himself, I guess.
Yes.
It looks so cool. So I think those are 2 of my favorite ones.
I love that. I went to Ursuline, we were the Raiders, and our rival school was Padua, the Pandas.
Yes.
So when we walk past the panda, I always say to my daughter, "Don't get any ideas. Don't look at that panda." We're Ursuline girls over here, but we'll see. She can go wherever she chooses. Okay, so tell us a little bit about you, your background, how you got here. So I know you said you worked MBA back in the day. You're more business background. I think I saw you and I have down here. I know you went to UConn and then
did.
Arizona State for your MBA.
Exactly right. Yeah.
So you're from UConn. You're from
I
Connecticut.
grew up in Connecticut, and I'm a huge UConn guy.
Really?
I'm a huge UConn
You're
guy.
a
And
Husky.
it's easy to be one now because in basketball, men's and women's are so darn good.
Yeah.
But I liked them even the years they weren't as good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I went to UConn, graduated with a marketing degree, then went to Arizona State for
For MBA.
MBA, concentration in marketing as well.
Are you a hoops guy with that height? 6'4"?
I played basketball at UConn,
You
No.
did?
intramural.
I played basketball at University of Delaware. Intramural.
Okay, you're welcome to use that joke, by the way. It is original.
All right. I'll
I've
know
told
that
it
one.
many times
You
now.
dropped a couple jokes. So.
Dad jokes.
Yeah, not all.
Dad appreciates
Yeah.
dad. Yeah.
Not all my comments were intended to be funny. Like coincidentally been funny. So I can't remember what we were talking about. So I have a marketing background.
Got it.
And we moved down here.
How'd you end up here?
Well, I was working in New York for an advertising agency and got engaged. And my wife thought maybe we should look at. She didn't really want to raise a family in Manhattan.
Yeah.
Although
Where's she from?
She's from Princeton, New Jersey.
Okay.
I met her in Manhattan. We're both
Coast,
living
which is
there.
nice.
Yeah. So basically, MBA brought me down here.
Got it.
And I thought, what is Wilmington and
Yeah.
what's MBA? How do you spell MBA?
Yeah.
I wasn't sure anything about the thing.
Yeah.
The place was fabulous. It was a great organization.
Yeah.
It really was. And I had a great time there. And now I find that the zoo is completely different, but there's a lot of principles that to me are the same. And MBA was very focused on the customer. I mean, really paying attention to the customer. That was a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we really pay attention to our customers at the zoo. We do a survey. And maybe when you're there, I hope you do, there's QR codes around the zoo. And we don't encourage them. We have it for their availability to take a snapshot and take a 9 or 10 question survey. And we take those results very much to heart. But the reviews we get and the scores we get from the customers about what they like and the value is really, really, really high. So we review these numbers quarterly internally to make sure we're focused on the things that people want us to be focused on. So I think the background MBA and the marketing is what I bring to the zoo. I don't know anything about the animals. I learned about the animals. I learned fun facts from you.
Right.
I should read my own website, which we're responsible
You have an extensive website. You have a great website.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, a lot of people working. Well, not a lot. 2 people work on it principally, but they work hard on it. But yeah, no, it's a great gig. I'm enjoying it a lot.
What does a day look like for you? Your typical day?
Typical day. Well, it's really focusing on trying to figure out how we can improve our operation. So we're getting into planning season pretty soon for what the events are going to be for next year. So we'll be planning. We'll do the reviews of all the surveys of what people are saying about sip and strolls, for instance, and where we think we can improve that. Now we get a lot of feedback, and this is important to share with your audience, perhaps. You know, a sip and stroll will have 250 people on an average good night. We've had it to 350. And people will say, we want more food for it. First of all, we want more than concessions. We bring in either food trucks or other vendors, but they'll say they want even more variety than that. Well, to be fair we work with local companies.
Right.
To bring in 2 companies to
now they're competing.
It's not fair to them. They don't make any money. Yeah. We don't take any money from the food vendors. That's all for them. We want to give back to the org. We want to have just a nice environment for our
business.
Yeah. So that's one of those things where it hurts where we get that feedback. They want multiple types of food, but it's not fair to the vendors who are there. So we do our best to do that to set the variety from event to event. But that's just like one of the things we do think about. But it's just planning those kinds of things out and making sure I'll walk the grounds to make sure that everybody's having a good time, essentially.
I love that. Cool. So my question was going to be, how can someone get involved? Is there volunteers at the zoo? Is it all paid employees? Like, how can someone that's interested in this field get involved?
There's a ton of volunteer opportunities for sure. Now, in my organization, we use volunteers to help run some of the events. So, for instance, like the Bank of America for Brew at the Zoo had a team of maybe 20 people that came over to help set up tables and help with the ticketing of people coming in and that sort of thing. So sometimes they kind of lifting things and physical things.
Manpower.
Exactly right. And not every event we run requires 20 people. Sometimes we've got a couple that come at the SIP that you guys will come to in September. They come every SIP and they help serve wine. And examples of that too. But docents is probably the biggest thing. There was an opportunity here through our education department where they bring in docents, and really what that means is people come in who have a strong interest in teaching and learning than teaching. So they'll come in and they'll go through not a rigorous program, but there's probably 4 or 5 different sessions where they'll come in and learn various aspects about an animal or a habitat or what have you, and they'll have the knowledge that they can impart to guests as they come through. So that's a docents program. We run that through our education department, and people can contact me or even our Brandywinezoo.org will have an opportunity for people to apply for a volunteer opportunity.
What's the term you're saying? Docent?
Docent, yeah.
What's that?
It's I'm not sure what it typically means, but it's basically somebody comes in as a volunteer, but with a certain expertise, right? So they'll learn about maybe the lemurs, and then they'll be standing by Madagascar habitat. So when people kind of come up and want to learn about lemurs, they'll tell them what they've learned about lemurs, and it's basically kind of a living sign, if you will. But it's more than that. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Pat always yells at us whenever we talk about a real estate term. He's like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. Please explain it. So,
right.
Docent. Cool.
Yeah. Docent. Yeah.
All right, so two more events we wanted to talk about. So we talked about Sip and Stroll, which is September 9th, Boo at the Zoo, which is in October, the 18th, 19th, and 20th. And then we also have Spirits at the Zoo.
Yeah.
You guys coming up with so many names. So Spirits at the Zoo is October 25th. Sounds like this might be a Halloween event.
Is, exactly right. Just want to correct one thing.
Like a vodka event or something.
Well, there you have it. The next SIP is September 12th.
Sorry,
not the 9th. I think it's the 9th.
12th.
Maybe I got that wrong.
Yeah.
So we have that now, right? Yeah. So Spirits at the Zoo. We did it 2 years ago, and someone thought maybe we should have, since Boo at the Zoo was so popular, and years ago it was a nighttime thing, and people seemed to enjoy it. Maybe we should do something for adults. So we did it 2 years ago. It's just we thought on a lark we'll have a costume contest and see what happens. We had 200 people come out.
Holy smokes!
It's all adults. And have to be over 21. And then we do serve spirits. It's at night.
Okay.
And the nice thing is because the zoo's already decked out with all Halloween, decorations stuff for the kids.
Yeah.
We just plug them in at night, and the place looks fantastic.
So cool.
At night. It's so totally cool. And we'll have a costume contest. It's $10 to get in. You buy a drink for $6.
I know.
And we have a contest. You win fabulous prizes to be determined, and maybe a guest opportunity on your podcast.
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
that'd be the first prize. You never know. We could do that.
Sign us up. We're
But it's
in.
a lot of fun. It's a you don't have to come in costume, but everybody does.
Yeah.
Most people do.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
wouldn't you do that?
Especially end October 25th. Like we are.
Yeah.
This is the end. Is that a Saturday?
It's a Friday night.
It's a Friday night. I was going to look it up. Friday night. That sounds like a
From
blast.
5:30 to 8:30.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then a band playing their live music. It's
Where do you put the music with the
There's,
animals? Like, are they scared of it?
they aren't. I mean, we don't let them. Yeah, we're not like Pearl Jam.
Yeah.
It's not nothing like that, right? And so, but it's not also mellow
Right,
music.
right,
I mean,
right.
these are rock bands. We just the amps go to 11.
Yeah.
This probably goes to 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right.
That's not that.
We're not-
I'm with you on that. Yeah.
Yeah. We're just enjoying.
It's one higher than 10.
Yeah,
These go to 11.
yeah. Spinal Tap reference.
Good one. No.
Right over, yeah, but you and I are on the same wavelength. That's
Right
my
over.
favorite.
It's a good one. Yeah.
Right over my head. Okay, and then last you have for the year is the Santa at the zoo.
Yeah, and Santa's awesome.
Yeah.
We have the real Santa.
Real
A
Santa.
lot of, I mean, he's so busy, right? He can't
Right.
be all places, but
No.
he is at the zoo.
He makes an exception for the
He
zoo.
does make an exception at the zoo. We need people to register for that because what we don't want to do is get
Everybody
people
more time.
disappointed. Yeah,
Yeah.
we need to spread it out.
Yep.
But it's a very popular event, and you bring your own camera. At one point, we had a photographer there, but that's not needed anymore. Everyone's
No.
got that. So we get your picture taken with Santa,
Cool.
the real Santa. I
Right.
pointed that out.
Right.
And it's in the pavilion. So even if the weather,
Oh, yeah.
should the weather not be great, and we've been really lucky
You're
so
still
far,
set.
you're still okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so
okay,
we
yeah.
do Santa pictures here as well. Right where we're sitting is where Santa sits.
Nice.
Yeah, and we just do it as a nice same thing as you, like community event. Come in. And we always tell people, and you're kind of in this territory as well. I always say it's a great practice for Santa pictures because
Yeah.
some of these kids, it's the first time they're introduced to Santa.
Oh, right.
And say you want to take them to the mall and drop $100 on
Yeah.
professional photos.
Yeah.
This is a great place to practice.
Right,
Meet
right,
Santa
yeah.
in a more confined setting.
Right.
You know, a little
Relaxed
bit more
environment.
intimate.
Yeah.
You know, the lemurs will
Yeah.
keep you relaxed.
Well, we
But
were
yeah.
talking about our son Henry. You knew Henry from
Yeah.
your days of coaching lacrosse. When Henry's a little guy, he's a very macho guy now, right?
Oh,
Big athlete.
Yeah.
He was not a big fan of Santa.
Yeah, no. Not everyone is. No,
He
no.
was not. He is now, I'm sure, but he
Yeah.
wasn't back then.
It takes time. It takes
Yeah.
time. Our daughter, her first Santa pictures was smiling at the camera and beautiful.
Adorable.
The next wouldn't even get close to him.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're hoping this year she's a little bit better.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are some fun events, and I love that some of them have alcohol. That's kind of nice because a lot of our audience is that. You know, we're in Charlie Square, 40
Yeah.
acres neighborhood. A lot of our audience is that young professional, that
Yes.
20s to 30s. Maybe they have one kid, maybe they're, not there yet. So a lot of what they're looking to do is more of like that social, drinking, get out, meet new people.
Yeah.
We're super involved with Trolley Run Club, Trolley Pickleball Club, like this young community that's really emerging in this area. And I think those are fantastic events. For them.
Yeah, I'd agree. We've seen that. I'd say the average, as you might guess, the average zoo guest is probably like you guys
Right.
with young
Young
kids.
family.
Sip and Stroll still works for people like you and younger kids, but we also get the
Yeah.
people without kids at that thing. And
Yeah.
certainly Brew at the Zoo is that. And even Spirits at the Zoo will be that as well. So we definitely have created some curriculum that I think appeals to just more than our traditional
Yeah.
market.
We're seeing a ton of like empty nesters come to this area.
Yeah.
The people that are downsizing from the big houses, they're moving here, they're empty nesters.
Yeah.
And they're just looking to get out. And again, that like 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock time frame. We
Yeah.
don't need to be out at 11 o'clock.
No.
We don't no, I don't know who wants to be out. If they do, there's cars right there. But that's like a perfect event for them. as
I'd
well.
agree.
Does your wife come to these events?
She
with you?
does, yeah. She works in New York 2 days a week too, so there's
It's perfect.
when she gets there when she can. In fact,
Yeah.
she'll be there tonight.
Nice.
Our event tonight, yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, anything you want to leave us with? Any parting words?
No, just since I've been in this role, I didn't really even know that much about Trolley Square. We're really trying to reach out to our neighbors here in Trolley Square.
Yeah.
And we built partnerships with the Delaware Children's Museum. We built
Awesome.
partnerships with Hagley. We built partnerships with the Delaware Museum of Nature and Science, realizing it's a small community.
Yeah.
We're all in this thing together,
Mhm.
but we really want to support local businesses. That's really what we're all about too.
Yeah.
So
Love
the food companies I told you come are usually very local companies, Trolley Square type companies.
Yeah.
We don't take money from them. We want them to make money expand their footprint, have them get
The
introduced
win-win
more
for
people.
everyone.
That's what it's all about.
We're the same exact way.
Yeah.
Like we have an event in this space once a month called Cocktails and Connections, especially in the more summer months. And same thing, like our sponsors, they bring what they bring. They bring beer, they bring a snack, whatever, but they're not paying us, right? Like
Right,
this is a win-win for everyone. And then we also run Trolley Trends, which this will be posted on, which is just a free Instagram page, just highlighting local businesses.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Just giving them a little shout out. Some of these small businesses don't have a social media person, a content person, somebody that's kind of, pushing them in the right direction. So we're super passionate about that as well.
Nice. Yeah.
Cool. Well, it was a pleasure to have you on.
Yeah, just to meet you guys. It's really exciting. Yeah.
And we'll see you September 12th.
September 12th. Right.
All right. Thanks. Another great episode of Life at the Ave with the Brandywine Zoo. Mark Shafer. It was so awesome to have you. Thanks for coming on.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right. See you next week.